My name is Jacob Larson, and this is a Common Sense Show. Got some quick info for you. The BuyCommonSense.com website has changed. The sponsor page has been changed to give more people more options on how they choose to support the show. In the past, it was primarily set up for advertisers. That left people out who wanted to support the show but didn't have any advertising needs. So we've added a simple donate button to that page for people who would like to donate to the show, and have expanded our advertising services by including services provided by Inverted Design for people who have more of an extensive advertising need. I think it turned out pretty good, so check it out and let me know what you think. Once again, the website address is www.buycommonsense.com. Last week, our special guest on the show was Lisa King. Lisa's been involved in radio for years and has helped me get this gig. While she was on the show, we talked about raising our kids and how society and changes in society has affected that. The world is much smaller now. We have a World Wide Web that connects us all and puts our lives on full display for everyone to see. And although I believe good thing, it also amplifies the good and bad behaviors that we picked up along the way. Those behaviors are learned things, and that learning begins at home. A parent's main job, their duty to their children, is to teach, instruct, prepare their kids for life, to pass on the knowledge of life that has been taught to them, and provide them with the building blocks necessary to live a better life. This isn't a new concept. As we discussed on the last show, people have been talking about how to raise kids for decades. The key is to having parents who understand what their role is and who are willing to take the time to actively take care of their children on a physical, spiritual, and emotional level. Recognizing that is in the best interest of their kids, and to do things on their own instruction and guidance of the parents while they're young and easily taught. Parents that don't recognize that, don't do that, are always doing things for the kids to make themselves feel better, are selfish people and aren't looking out for their kids. And the kids are the ones who ultimately pay the price. And I mean that in the nicest way possible. Today we have a special show. We have more than just one special guest. We have multiple guests on the show today, and we're going to be discussing a very controversial topic, one that has haunted songwriters, poets, and philosophers for years. That subject is men. So what I'm going to attempt to do is create somewhat of an inside look into the private conversations and discussions that men often have about women. I had this idea, obviously, because I am a guy, and I've had numerous conversations with lots of different guys over the course of the years I've been on the planet. And what I found is, guys tend to change how they talk about women and what they say, depending on if there's women around. And so I thought, gee, if there's a way to get these conversations more known, then people wouldn't, or women wouldn't necessarily view men in the same light. They would have a little bit different opinion. They'd maybe get a little bit more understanding of what some of the things guys think about and what they go through. And hopefully this show is a better thing for people. I'm also going to be doing a follow-up show in the next few weeks where I'm going to have women come on the show and talk about men. So it'll be a reversal, because obviously women talk about men differently when they're around other women. So these are the things that I found was curious. So in an effort for the women listening, make sure, like I said, hanging out with these guys. I mean, you hear all sorts of stuff, and like I said, we're going to try to get it as clear as possible. All of the guests on the show are going to be semi-anonymous, meaning that we won't be using their real names. Instead, I'll be referring to them as Mr. Pink, Mr. Brown, and Mr. Blonde. So if you have any questions for Mr. Pink, Mr. Brown, or Mr. Blonde, or myself, please feel free to call into the show. The number's 541-284-7953. Once again, that number's 541-284-7953. Give us a call. Let us know what you think. So, Mr. Pink, how are you? Mr. Blonde, how are you? Mr. Brown, how are you guys?
Excellent. Good to be here.
Yeah, it's good to be on the show, Jacob. Thank you.
Fantastic.
All right. Okay, so topic is about women, and we've all had different relationships, and
our day starts very
in the past, and so I would like to just kind of get an idea of what you guys think, just generally, about women. I mean, obviously, we're guys, so we like women, but so what do you think?
Let's get in there and get our hands dirty.
Okay.
I think they belong in the kitchen and in the bedroom.
Nice. And that is a fun joke.
And so it begins.
Off to a fine start here.
Yes. Okay, so what do you guys look for in a woman to date?
I almost exclusively date women that are bisexual because I enjoy having multiple female partners. I've had one relationship with a woman that wasn't bisexual in my life, and it was the shortest relationship of my life. Also, a girl who's clean, not only in the way that she carries herself, but also her house, and a girl who's into anal.
Okay.
I was going to say a kind one, but I'm going to go ahead and let you keep going.
I find that highly irrelevant.
Okay, what about you, Mr. Pink?
You know, for me, it's a matter of finding someone that you can place that trust into, regardless of what situations you encounter in life, and knowing that they're going to want to be lockstep with you in, you know, like Mr. Brown said, in the way that they want to keep their house, and the way that they want to present themselves to the world, and the way that they want to present themselves to you. I find that, you know, the more compatibilities you can find in the small things in life and the comforts that you find inside of each other, the easier it is to have a working, useful relationship.
So Mr. Pink actually has some depth to his answer.
Yeah, no, that was pretty spot on, man.
I'm pretty sure that's why you named him Mr. Pink.
Okay. Okay, well, the bottom line is, I mean, I understand that, I mean, the guys here in the room have, I mean, you guys are currently in relationships, and so there is probably a little bit of a governor on how you're going to respond to some of this stuff. But, so give us some details here. So you're dating somebody who's bisexual is an important thing for you. You're more along the lines of they've got to be more compatible in terms of day-to-day living activities. Is that correct?
Yeah, definitely, man. I mean, you know, if you wake up every morning and you roll over and you look at the person in bed next to you and you just wish that they would walk outside and get hit by a bus, it's not going to work. You know, and if you feel that way because you look around the house, you know, and there's dishes piled up in the sink, or you realize that, you know, that person has done nothing but yell and scream at you about irrelevant issues for the entire time up until you went to sleep, that's not going to be a working relationship. You've got to find someone who you can still have engaging conversations with, but on the flip side of that, you know, when there's not that discourse, that the harmony's there in a positive way.
But cleanliness is a big deal to both of you guys.
Oh, absolutely. And I think that we have a lot of the same core values, but I think that I can overlook most of my core values if the sexuality is there. I'm probably somewhat of a sex addict, and I probably could overlook just about anything if the sex is good enough. So that's probably where my primary motives with my last answer came from.
So sex is a big deal to you?
Oh, yeah, clearly I'm a guy.
I was going to say, it's kind of a big deal to a lot of guys. Okay, Mr. Blonde, what's your take on this?
Yeah, I'm still kind of blown away. I'm still kind of blown away by all this.
What do you look for in a woman?
Well, obviously she's got to be attractive, right? But
Okay.
I still kind of revert back to the kind part, you know, because everything else will fall into place, and you can pretty much talk your way into any part of her that you want. So you can start with attractive to you and kind, and everything else should really fall into place if you guys are compatible. If you're not, then throw in the towel and find somebody else. But
So kind is really vague. Do you mean kind like to you, or are you looking for Mother Teresa? I mean, what does that even look like?
That's actually a good point. What exactly are you talking
well,
about?
I actually ate a hot Mother Teresa, so
Okay.
that it actually worked out really well.
So you're going to have a really good time when you go home after this show playing it safe, right?
Yeah, no, I don't play it safe at home either. I was just being honest. No, my wife knows fully what to expect on this show and what will come out of my mouth, whether I like it or not. My speed bumps kind of went away. So
Okay, in terms of dating, are all women created equal?
No.
Why?
Because I think that for me, I see a higher value in women who have their self-respect, women who respect themselves clearly.
Respect
value
themselves, such as?
a woman who takes the time to take care of herself, make sure that she looks good before going out, make sure that she's clean.
What about her behavior?
Oh, behavior is essential, because I definitely don't want somebody who's going to embarrass me more than I embarrass myself, which is next to impossible. But still, if it
None
were to
of us need
happen,
that.
I would be upset.
Mr. Pink, all women.
No, nobody's the same. I mean, I've dated a rather broad spectrum of women throughout the years, and I mean, hell, I've had shots of liquor out of the same bottle that were different. There's no way to look at that, and it kind of comes down to, what aspects are keeping you there. Because, like I said, talking about, are we compatible in our relations, the way that we talk to each other, the way things we do each other. And in no means whatsoever is that glossing over, the sexual aspect of it. Because, 95% of any relationship we're going to get into is going to be driven that initial desire to, conquer that person. That's what we do as men. We try to conquer every single aspect of our lives. So...
You think that's the way men look at sex, though, is just a conquest?
In the beginning, yeah. If anybody tells you any different, that's a complete and utter lie.
Yeah, he has a point.
Okay, but my question is this, though. We're talking about dating a woman. We're not talking about a one-night stand. So a one-night stand, I would totally understand the sexual drive to, quote-unquote, conquer her. But beyond that, I mean, once you've done that, to continue to date her, surely it's more than just the sex, right?
If it's a one-night stand and the sex is terrible, though, I mean, are they getting a call back? Is that something you're going to return yourself to? Or
No.
Exactly.
They're not even getting cab fare.
Yeah, and also, it's not like we're giving each other resumes.
Okay.
This isn't all on paper. There's pushback on a woman's side and pushback on a man's side that makes each other want each other more.
Okay.
You can't be some salivating fool that just, oh, hey, well, what are you doing later? Once you get off work, can we get together? Let's hang out again. You know what I mean? And if she does it to you, it just turns you off. So you both kind of have to be standoffish. I mean, there's so many levels to acquiring a good relationship, and how that person plays back and forth is also just as important. This isn't resumes like I'm applying for Sally X and, hello, my name is James, and I want to have, yeah, it's James Harper, by the way. Screw Mr.Blonde. So anyway, we're not applying for a job. This is something that you play back and forth with each other, and you have to fit the same
I don't think you
mold.
made it 10 minutes.
5 minutes
I don't
in,
really
his pants
care.
are already off, folks.
His pants are
Yeah,
already
I don't
off.
even care, though. I'm not going to say anything that I don't believe. So
Going back to the conquest thing, and even if you're looking for a long-term relationship, the best of intentions are not going to cover up your primal male instincts. And every man's initial instincts when he sees a woman that he's attracted to is going to be that conquest. I mean, could it be something more with the intent involved? Yes, it can be, but your instincts are still going to drive you.
yeah, on both sides.
Oh, absolutely.
Male and female, both sides.
Well, and I think it relates to every single aspect of our lives nowadays. I mean, if I go and order something, off the internet, say that, I find something that intrigues me that I want to purchase. I want to buy it and I want to have it at my house the next day. And the same thing kind of applies to a relationship. I mean, how many of you are in a relationship that started with the traditional courtship model? You think back to, what we traditionally think about, probably the way that our parents or our grandparents date, where the guy would show up at her house and pick him up in the car and they'd go and have dinner and play bowling, go bowling or whatever, and then he'd drop her off later at the end of the night. How many of us that are in relationships, or how many of our previous relationships have started with that one-night stand aspect? I mean, really, in the way that our culture's defined at this point is the immediacy of everything. And it's that instant gratification. And so what happens is, when we're jumping into what eventually will become a relationship, that immediate sense of gratification,
New word, got it.
Yeah, gratification and satisfaction has to be there right out the gate.
Okay, but once again, we just got through saying, I mean, it was almost a unanimous statement that women are different. Okay, not all women are the same. And then we're talking about, what would be the positive thing about dating a female. And our initial drive obviously is sex. But do you honestly think, can you sit here and tell me that, a woman who puts out on the first date as a one-night stand is the one you want to, possibly create a relationship with? I mean, seriously, if she'll do it for you guys, why wouldn't do it for other guys?
That's funny because I'm married. I've been married for 3 years, and my wife is the first girl that I've ever dated who didn't actually put out the first night. She actually tortured me for 4 dates and actually slept in bed next to her, didn't have sex. She held out on me for so long that I think she kind of tricked me and flipped the script on me, and then I married her.
See?
And I'm glad she
Told
did.
ya.
I'm glad she did. She's awesome. She's my best friend. She's my partner, and I love having her, but I still feel kind of duped. And I'm still confused and a little bit muddled about it. I'm not sure exactly what she did, but somehow she snared me.
Now, I want to clarify, just for Mr. Brown here.
Yes, please.
That the 4 dates he's talking about is they went out on a date one night, they went home together, they woke up the next morning, and they had breakfast. Breakfast was the second, lunch was the third date, and dinner was the fourth date. So this all happened over the course of less than 24 hours.
Can I remind you that my wife knows where you sleep?
Do you understand what I'm saying, though, guys? I mean, obviously, I mean, I absolutely 100% agree. There are different types of women out there, totally, and there's some that I've even instructed my son to absolutely stay away from. They're nightmares. They're train wrecks. They're women that will turn your life into absolute chaos. I mean, they can't wake up in the morning without creating some type of devastation that you get to deal with. I mean, and those type of women that, like I said, I've even told my son you want to avoid. I know you guys are all nodding your heads, but you aren't saying anything. This is radio,
well,
so you can agree with me.
Hey, but the bottom line, though, is that, yes, there are train wrecks in every race, creed, color, whatever. But there's also women that are comfortable with their bodies, and there's also women that are ashamed of their bodies. Both good looking, both came from similar backgrounds, but yet
What's
one
that
is
got to do with putting out on the first date?
Because one is comfortable with their body and the other is not.
I don't think that has anything to do with
Absolutely
putting out on the
does.
first
Absolutely
date, man.
does. If somebody is uncomfortable with their body, they're like lights off. If you can read between the lines, lights off. Covers over you, like not. Doesn't want to try anything new. Doesn't just as like missionary. That's the missionary woman, and the woman that's comfortable with her body.
I'm not going to argue a woman who's frigid with you, bro. I mean, I'm with you on that. We're on the same page there.
Hey, my wife is listening. Okay, don't talk about my girlfriends.
Stop.
Here's where I disagree. I think there's a difference between women who are comfortable with their bodies and women who
And
are
whores.
comfortable with their sexuality.
Yeah.
And a girl who's comfortable with her sexuality comes off as what society would call a slut, or as, if it was a role reversal,
Why?
she's just a man in a woman's body.
I'm sorry, but why would you make that association that simply because a woman puts out on the first date that she's obviously comfortable with her body or with sex, and women who wait aren't? See, I personally, I'm a guy. I take offense to that statement because I think it's BS.
Yeah, you're also a religious guy, though.
No, I am a religious guy,
but
the
just
bottom
take
line,
that into
doesn't change
consideration
the
also.
fact that it doesn't change the fact that simply because a woman decides to make you wait, that
no.
automatically makes her frigid.
Then
or
you
that
end up friggin' marrying
automatically
her.
makes her unwilling to, I mean, it's
Right?
BS. Isn't that a BS statement?
Well, I think, okay, so we're trying to divide at this point between, are we going to speak nations, drawn across the party lines of whatever sex a person is, or are we going to talk about, specific situations? Because as we kind of covered earlier, every single human being is unique and different.
Sure.
So, we can't lay a blanket statement over it that, if you put out that very first night that I meet you, obviously you're comfortable with your body and you love it. I mean, that coin flips either way. In any type of situation or, position that we put ourselves in life, there's a 50-50 variance of which way it's going to go.
And,
Either
and
you're
why,
completely, it could be A, yeah, they are completely comfortable with their sexualities and with their body and who they are, or B, they are so completely the opposite of that they're looking for that acceptance.
And they have such
Yes.
a low self-esteem that any guy that so much as pays attention to them, they're excited and they'll.
But I know this is a show about women, but why is it that the woman is the one who's crucified and the man is not? That's
For
my
that
only
behavior,
point.
James, that's an easy answer.
Because we're men?
No. Because typically if sex goes down on any level, women gave the okay to have it happen. Otherwise, it doesn't happen.
Or it could be 2,000 years of religious oppression caused by a patriarchal society.
How easy is it? No, that's not it at all. It has absolutely
Yes,
nothing.
yes,
no,
it
it's
is.
not. Guys, listen to me. What if you had the ability to walk out your door tomorrow and with a wave of a hand, a whisper, whatever, get sex?
I have that ability already.
Stop.
I would probably end up a homosexual.
Men
I
are
think
not
it's called
in
dollar
control of
drink
sex.
night.
Men are not in control of sex. Women are. It's as simple as that.
Okay, so
I
that
highly
society,
disagree with
society. Listen to me.
I highly
Society-
disagree with that.
Society does not. Okay, society does not look in high regard or self-esteem people who get things for free, or get things easy, or don't have to work for things.
Jake, listen.
They just don't.
Listen, if a woman's there naked and there's a man around, yes, we will have sex.
There you go.
However,
If you stand there naked,
if a man knows what he's doing, he can also get sex just that easy.
okay, take your arrogant backside
Hey,
Out of the equation, James, because you're so full of crap. It's not even funny.
true. I'm telling you.
Okay, you're not going to tell me you are going to stand naked in any room and
Oh,
get a
no.
woman to have
No,
sex
that would
with you.
scare them first.
There you go.
No. And why is it that a woman says, I want an intelligent...
Guys have to work for it. Women don't.
I want
and
an
that's why it's
intelligent, thoughtful, romantic man, but yet the funny, handsome one will go home with the girl every night. Why is that?
Say that again.
Are you not listening?
I'm not.
Because nobody likes ugly people. They make our eyes sad.
Okay, well said.
I apologize to the ugly listeners. It's your parents' fault.
How about that making you wish that my eyes were deaf?
Moving on. Okay, so chivalry's dead. Is it?
Yes.
No.
Absolutely not, but it's a respect that has to be earned, and I don't really feel like with the way that that most females conduct themselves that they really are putting out the signals that they need to be putting out to receive chivalry.
I agree. Yeah, I agree with that. But if you walk through the mall, you could go to Valley River right now, and you could look at, after school. And you could look at any number of the kids walking through the mall, and none of them have that instinct in them like our parents did. So is it slowly dying, or is it already dead?
Why do you think that, James?
What do you mean, why do I think that? Go to the mall.
Because he cruises the mall looking at 12-year-olds.
I cruise the mall looking for 12-year-olds.
No. You gave an answer downstairs, and I wanted you to give the same answer upstairs that you gave downstairs. And I warned you all about having the conversation downstairs that we would have on air.
Don't talk about my downstairs,
So
first
tell
of all.
me.
Second,
Yeah, which
me
downstairs
why
and upstairs? Was I part of
you
this?
think that, James?
Should I have been filming?
I think that a huge part of, at least the female part of that, not the male part of that, the female part of that, is a lot of it has to do with, feminist movement has made huge advances for women, and I support those.
Don't sugarcoat it.
The flip side of that, I gave my name. The flip side of that is it's also...
my show.
Eat shit. Sorry. But the flip side of that is it's also taken a huge dent, put a huge dent in chivalry and things like that, where it's, there are differences in men and women. There's no question about it. And, hip hop is also a huge chunk that has made a big disastrous effort in the degradation of women, in my opinion. And I like hip hop. I listen to hip hop, but I think that there's been some huge things in history that have made advance, but also set back other areas because you couldn't have both.
So basically, you're saying that that because of that, the feminist movement, hip hop, stuff like that, women no longer want chivalry or reject men that give chivalry, or
no, I think they still want it. But they also want to feel empowered and feel, it's kind of like...
so they emasculate men.
It's like Dale Carnegie, How to Win Friends and Influence People. Everyone has that core desire to be needed and to be wanted and to have a purpose and to serve a cause. Everyone wants that. So just a compliment to somebody instantly upgrades you from level stranger to I like this person. Little things like that. And that, that's the fundamental root of how feminists could promote women's rights, but also you can't have that other side where I want a door held for me, or I want you to do these things for me because I'm a woman and I shouldn't have to do them, which I'm wholeheartedly, I do it every day. I am chivalrous, but I still think it's dead. I mean, in a lot of ways.
But you're obviously with a woman that allows you to be chivalrous.
Absolutely.
No,
I've been with my wife for 15 years, and
shoot in there, Pink.
How many? I got
okay,
this.
That didn't come out right, Mr. Pink.
Well, it did come out right. Wait, no. So, how about though the fact that okay, one we can look at, is chivalry dead? No. How about common courtesy?
Yes.
Now it's settling in. No, common courtesy is completely dead as our culture, and that's definitely symptomatic of the death of chivalry. But also, what about the repackaging and the rebranding of chivalry? I know in relationships that I've been in, changing my Facebook photo to a picture of me and my significant other is really an act of chivalry these days. Going on and leaving complimentary statements on their wall about them and things like that.
Seriously?
A Facebook photo is serious business. Now, I mean, we're probably, we might be dealing
He's
with
right.
we might be dealing with a generational gap or something like this, but Facebook is real life.
We got a caller. Let's take the call. You guys aren't going to be able to hear it, by the way. Okay, Jacob Larson, the Common Sense Show. Who do I have on the phone?
This is Mel.
Nell?
Mel.
Mel. How are you, Mel?
I'm great.
This is a girl named Mel.
Hi, Mel.
Hi.
Say hi.
I'm just wondering, it
Hey, Mel.
seems as though a lot of these statements are coming from a primal sense, and I wonder how long that they date for going off of these, like, primal instincts before any sort of, like, intellectual or emotional attachment really occurs.
Okay, that's a good question. Hold on, because I got to repeat it. Mel wants to know, she says that it seems like a lot of these statements are based on primal sense. And how long does it take to date one of you guys until it more of an intellectual... say that again. Intellectual. Sorry. Intellectual sense?
And emotionally more viable.
When does it become more intellectually and
Connection.
emotionally more viable? How long does it take to date a woman before it actually turns into that? Obviously, the
Couple
initial
months,
dating is
probably.
primary.
She should know. I was with her for 6 years.
Nice.
I would say a few months.
So a few months.
Interesting.
I'd say less than that. I mean, for me, the first callback, so to say, there has to be something stimulating there outside of the physical aspect of it.
No, but she means intellectual, like you're getting to know each other's roots.
Intellectual and emotional.
Yeah, not just trying to, you guys want to get back together.
Yeah,
but
once you get past
this
that
deep-
initial sex
deep-
drive
a deeper
thing,
level.
how does it turn into a deeper thing?
So I'm just gonna go into this. This is a girl who came into my bar, and I'm not going to use the terminology that she used, but she threw her number down and said horrible things to me, insinuating that she wanted to be my booty call. And then I ended up being with her for 6 years. So I mean, clearly there was some connection beyond that, and it was almost immediate once we actually hung out outside of the vapid bar scene. So I mean, I won't.
Do you
I
believe
won't waste my time
in, like, a
on
biological chemical reaction then that could possibly transpire that would instigate that between people?
Say that again, Mel. We just swapped some headsets here.
Now, does that mean that you guys believe that there's possibly some biological or chemical thing that reacts in the body that makes that connection instantly for people?
Everything that we are and everything that we perceive is just chemical synapses in our brain anyway. So, I mean, clearly there's some sort of connection that comes from that.
Okay, interesting stuff. Thanks, Mel. Thanks for calling into the show. So basically, she's wondering, and I think a lot of women are wondering. I mean, obviously, once you get past that sexual drive, at the very beginning of your relationship, how does it turn into something more? I mean, I think there's women out there that obviously want to be in relationships. They want it to, they want it to go farther than what it is. But I think a lot of what we see, especially in a bar type situation, are women that simply are doing and behaving in ways and manners that they think guys want in an effort to find the right guy. And a lot of times those behaviors aren't really conducive to relationships.
So I'll posit kind of a personal theory that I've carried for a really long time on this, which is within the first, less than a second that as men we see a woman, we go through a process mentally. We go through this process that determines, one, in our brain, first step, are we physically attracted to this person? If so, what attracts us to this person? And then from that third step, what kind of things do we want to do to those things that attract us to that person? That's an immediate response. We know within the very first second if we want to sleep with you or not. That's why our heads turn when you're walking down the street or you're jogging or if you're out in a bar having a drink with your friends or whatever. We know within less than a second if we find you desirable, if we want to sleep with you. And we're probably already starting to form a plan of, the Prince model of this. Like, how many positions can I get in a one-night stand? On the flip side of that, we're going to go up and we're going to engage you if there's any interest whatsoever. And I can tell you within the first minute of talking to a girl if there's any type of intellectual level there, if there's anything else beyond that initial desire to sleep with them. And the path that I'm going to take that person is going to be two completely divergent things. If it's supposed to be a one-night stand, I'm probably not even going to let you know where I live.
Okay.
'Cause I don't want you coming back to my house. But if it's something beyond that, then that initial engagement is probably going to start right after that first encounter. The very first time that I sleep with that person.
I think you're exactly right on that. I think that everything you said is exactly right. I just don't think that we formulate it in our heads the same way. I think that we just kind of know. we don't stop and take a piece of paper and write it down, and this is how I'm going to do, and this is what I'm going to say, and it's not. We just know.
It happens at the speed of thought. Yeah, I mean, there's
Exactly.
no control over that.
But when we break it down, somebody could be listening to this and saying, "Oh man,
All right, boys.
men are just."
We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back. We're back. You're listening to Jacob Larson on the Common Sense Show. We've got Mr. Pink, Mr. Brown, and Mr. Blonde. All women are crazy.
It's what level of crazy you're willing to deal with women. And I want to say something, because we just had one of my exes call in, and I couldn't hear her on the headphones, so it kind of threw me off a little bit. She was a fluke in my life, and it was probably because it was my early 20s. But I just want to put this out there to all you ladies. If you're looking for a relationship, try not meeting a dude at the club while you're drunk as hell in a short skirt with your ass hanging out, because that's not really what dudes are looking for in relationship material.
Okay.
Not
Find a
relationship.
better place.
No, but we can draw a direct correlation between craziness in the head and craziness in bed. I mean, this is something that I don't know, what were you, like 15 when you figured this out? I was probably about that age when I realized that the more crazy the girl was just in her head and in her head space, the way freakier stuff that she was going to allow me to do.
Redhead syndrome. Ginger chicks totally just go off in the bedroom.
Are we
It's like a
talking
massacre. They
are we talking
dexter you.
natural carpets match the draped redhead, or are we talking like hardwood floors and looking like Haley from Paramore redheads?
Okay, so okay.
I
Okay,
think-
so
I think
lady in
redheads are even crazier.
lady in public, whore in bed. That's what you're referring to.
No. I mean, if we're talking about like what level of craziness you're willing to deal with, yeah. I mean, of course, we all have the Madonna complex, right?
Okay, but we're all agreed. All women are crazy, obviously.
There's a
But it's
direct-
what level of crazy you're talking to. We're talking about
There's a
dealing
direct
with, and you're saying
balance.
that in the bedroom, it's crazy good.
No,
Crazy's okay.
what's the investment that you're willing to put into the craziness? I mean, if you're going to invest yourself into a relationship with someone that's insane, what are you getting out of it? And more than likely,
It's gonna be sex.
Any dude that I've ever known that's dated some chick where I'm like, dude, what the hell are you doing with that girl?
It's gonna
She's
be
out of
sex.
her freaking mind, and they just smile and give you that look.
You agree? Come on.
Here's
Speaking
the
of
scale.
the money.
One side there is how crazy a woman is. On the other side, there's how good a blowjob she gives. If
Can we say
they're
that
about
on
equal,
air?
then we're good.
Okay,
If not,
let's-
okay.
let's
okay.
abbreviate.
Fellatio.
Conolingus.
Abbreviate.
Fellatio.
You win.
No, but
Conolingus.
he's definitely right on that one. I mean, because there's a direct correlation between.
Okay, so if a woman is absolutely, bat guano or whatever, guano crazy, and mentally, a lot of times guys will give that a pass if she tears it up in bed.
Yeah, definitely.
Absolutely. And this may be a tad, like just a tiny bit off subject, but I have a gripe. I want to know why when you see a stripper in the club and she's up there and she's bouncing, she's doing 7 different positions on a pole, she's doing every single crazy, lewd, disgusting act that doesn't involve a chicken that you could possibly imagine. Then you get her home and she lays there like a dead fish. What the hell is that?
Okay, there's actually there's a statement that I got from a guy.
She's a performance artist, not a
Private
stripper.
message. Private message I got.
That's what she tells her parents, dude. I'm not her dad. I
And
might be
actually,
your
it's
dad.
actually in relation to what you just
could be.
said. One of these guys said, "I like my girls a couple of shades uglier than perfect because they appreciate sex more. The Barbie dolls are kind of a cold fish."
Appreciate sex. No, they work harder for it. They work harder for it, and they'll let you do anything.
Is that not what you just
That
said,
kinda goes
though?
back to the blowjob.
Is that not what you just said, though?
I
mean, you're basically agreeing with this guy.
Yeah,
he says
sure.
the more attractive they are, the more likely they're going to be a cold fish.
Well, there's the I have golden privates syndrome that girls get, and that doesn't
When they're
sound
more
nearly
attractive.
as cool as the way I usually say it. But yeah, if a girl can be super attractive and she can still be dateable, but as soon as she knows how attractive she is, she's ruined. She's ruined, and she's non-dateable. She's just unboyfriendable forever, and
This is true.
she's
Wholeheartedly
awful.
true.
She's awful. There's
Do you
still
agree,
some
Mr.
dude
Pink?
who's going to be willing to put up with her, but I'm not that dude.
How much freebie stuff are you going to get before you get that false sense of entitlement? And you're going to build your entitlement, based off of whatever your esteem level is.
Well, there's also
Okay.
crazy, and then there's a bitch. I mean,
Okay.
there's 2 very different kinds of crazy. You can kind of nurture
But it's
crazy
still
to
crazy, isn't it,
normality,
James?
But bitch is...
But it's still crazy.
There's no fixing bitch.
I'd rather deal with bitch than crying crazy. Crying crazy is the worst, most disgusting thing ever. Have you ever had a girl blow snot bubbles on you while she cries on your shoulder?
Okay, yeah.
I'd have to say no.
That's the worst thing that ever happened.
But
ever.
but on the flip side of that, crying crazy, there's going to be some amazing action between the seats afterwards, with just outright bitch. She's going to go out with her girlfriends, and they're going to talk about what a terrible person you are. So which
Yeah,
which-
And then she's going to be blowing somebody else.
and go out and dance with a bunch of black.
So how does it make you? How does it make you feel? How does it make you feel when women go out and they talk bad about you to their girlfriends?
awesome, because that makes your girlfriends want to hit it when I'm done with them.
Did you just hear what I said? They talk bad about you in front of
I
their
know,
girlfriends.
girls like assholes. How many girls do you know that are out there actually, they all say, I just want to find a nice guy. No girl wants a nice guy. A nice guy's boring as hell. I don't
Seriously?
want a
You
nice
think that's
girl.
true?
I want a crazy girl.
No girls.
I really want to stay out of this, but he's right.
No girls want a nice guy.
No, and
Yeah,
especially if they went to
100% agree.
Christian school, they're wrecked. They just want somebody who's
No
gonna
girls
abuse
want
them
nice
the way
guys.
their dad
Nice
couldn't
guys
fucking
finish
do.
last, is what you're saying.
How many times has Rihanna gone back to Chris Brown? How many times did Whitney go back to Bobby?
Bam! Exactly.
I mean, look at our popular culture, and you know, I mean, you can draw this exact lineage between women that are getting their ass beat by men on public TV
Why do you suppose that is?
because of the sense of confidence, because of the attitude, because of the expectations. Women will settle for a beta male. They'll take a beta and they will marry that guy, and they will spend the rest of their lives living behind a picket fence with their little nuclear family.
Gotta have money.
But they'll take an alpha that lives in a crappy apartment that he has anything going on with his life, as long as he's got something to him. He's got some swagger, he's got some persona. And the simple fact that once in a while he might throw a blow their way, they're just going to kind of convince themselves that they deserved it.
So if we know this, guys, okay, if we know this, if this is standard
about being
knowledge
Irish.
amongst men, if this is standard knowledge amongst men, that if you treat women badly, they like you more, okay, then what advantage is there for a guy to ever behave good?
That's a real good question.
If we're not,
I can't
if
figure
we're
it
not
out.
gonna,
I
if
still
we're
don't
not gonna
know.
get with any women, you know, and sex is no longer going to be on the table, why on earth would men treat their women right or good?
But if you don't treat your woman kindly all the time, then sex is always on the table. It's only when they find you to be that sniveling, pathetic, I'm always going to be nice and sit in your purse all day that you get friend zoned or put on the back burner with sex.
So you think there is a balance there? It's got to be maintained.
Women want to be dominated. Whether they're the most
Women want to be
liberal feminist
dominated.
person
I mean,
ever,
the feminist
they wanna be
revolution,
dominated.
and you're going to say women want to be dominated. You agree with this, guys?
In bed. How many girls do you know that do anything but lay there like a fish?
Well,
I know like three,
you know,
and I've had sex with way too many girls.
So we'll take the crazy scale that we're relating craziness to sexuality or whatever on the female spectrum. When it comes to the male spectrum, I can guarantee you that a lot of the guys that I know that happen to be kind of jerks on the outward appearance and everything like that, and that can be very rude and mean and crude to their women in a public situation, they're generally pretty passionate guys on the flip side of that as well. I mean, it's not like the crazy scale applies only to women.
Okay.
So if you take a guy that's got everybody's crazy, especially
Okay, you know what? That's not true, but okay.
no, everybody's crazy.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, and especially if you say
Where
you
do
aren't.
you live, man?
If you say you aren't, you're definitely further on the spectrum than I am.
Okay, so this actually, a woman said this, and this actually falls along lines of, what we're going with here. She says, sometimes we want to be treated like a princess. Sometimes we want to be treated like a sex object. It's up to you to figure out which of these we want to be at any given moment, because we certainly aren't going to tell you.
Yeah.
Typical.
Yeah. So basically, they want a mind reader guy that's just going to cater to their every whim, and half the time they want to be treated like their dad would treat them, and the other half the time they want them to be treated like the way that I would treat them, which is awful.
No, and
who
who has Shakespeare
so-
memorized and is a a surfer. Like they want all these things in one person, and they'll never get it. So they have so they read 50 Shades of Grey, honey.
Or they sit there and they
Surfers.
deal with a situation where they have nothing but those nice guys who are completely compliant and complacent to everything that they want them to do in their lives, and so that's the lure of the bad boy or the guy that is going to treat them a little crappy, the guy that's not give them that much respect. I mean, because more often than not, what women really want is they want a guy that's going to live on their program.
How is it? I mean, I'm seriously, I'm kind of scratching my brain, racking my brain here. 'Cause, I mean, how is it that a concept so basic, so simple, every guy just seems to know, and yet women, if you mention that, they get really offended by it. If you say, listen, you treat women bad, they like you. If you treat them nice, they'll friend zone you.
It's the same thing as pointing out when their backside looks fat in some jeans. It's the truth, but they don't want to hear it. They'll even ask you. They'll take that ridiculous question, knowing full well that, yes, you look like you just stuffed two people in those jeans, but they'll ask you, and they'll put you in that position.
Funny that I had a private message sent to me. A guy, he said, they don't want the truth. Women don't want the truth, even though telling them the truth would be more constructive. Do these pants make my butt look big? ? Sometimes she needs to be told to stop blaming the pants.
Exactly. It's not the pants. It's never been the pants. It's the cheesecake that you slurp through that Slurpee straw all day. Put down the fork, get on a treadmill, and do something with yourself.
Dude, I don't even know if it's that. I don't even. It's that's not even a question. So the deal is that when you engage in that conversation with your woman, you're not talking about pants. You're not talking about their ass.
You're talking
You're
about
not talking about
compliments. Give me a compliment.
no, it's not even that. It's the simple fact is, yeah, sure, you might think that they're looking for compliments, but once in a while, if you give honest, constructive feedback and criticism, you'd be surprised at the type of answers you're going to get. I mean, anytime,
A divorce?
Maybe.
He's had one of those. He should know.
Yeah, it depends on what type of program you've been running throughout your entire relationship. Now, if you've built your relationship on this path of lies where you're constantly complimenting them and giving them praise for things that you honestly don't believe in, when you go to give them that criticism is going to come across so completely out of character and so false that it's going to have no weight whatsoever other than it's a direct attack and an insult. Now, if you're honest with them and you're like, damn, you look really good in that. But if once in a while, when they put something on, you're like, I wouldn't go outside wearing that. I mean, you're a beautiful person, but that does not help you.
I agree, but we're also speaking about this as men, not as women.
No, I'm speaking
Well, we're
about
going to have
this
the
as-
woman show soon,
on
and
the
we're you guys.
inside, emotionally.
No, I have a relationship that works this way. I mean, my lady asks me honest opinions about stuff that she's going to wear.
And you answer honestly.
I always give her an honest answer.
Excellent.
Now, not 100% of the time. Now, I will occasionally, there will be those moments where, you'll kind of gloss over or whatever.
If you think she's emotionally unstable or whatever.
Yeah, if it's been a bad day or something, emotionally unstable, that's completely relative. I mean,
We are talking about women, right?
no, but it's one of those things where that's purely determined by the level of honesty that you've had in your relationship from the start.
Okay, I got another private message. Private message is from a guy. He says, not all women, but nearly all need that kind of they just met you and the romance is on feeling. It's not just verbal. You need to show a little hunger without seeming to focus on only one thing. My last relationship ended partially because I was losing the ability to keep up with the body worship. She was getting older, and I think that may have been a problem for her. She used to tell me that my last airing, when she undressed, made her feel old and unattractive.
I think this dude is just way overanalyzing it, and he's taking the blame on himself. Maybe she should make herself more attractive. Maybe she should go down to the gym and do some squats and give him something worth staring at. Why is he taking all the blame on him?
He's taking reference. He's saying, listen, women in a way want to be desired. They want to be found attractive. They want to have, kind of a body worship thing going on. And the moment you stop noticing her, the moment you stop showing interest.
No, they don't. They want to join the military, and they want to make more than men do. And they
Ooh, where'd that come from, James?
Yeah, because
That
that's
sounded-
exactly what
No,
they
it's
want.
not even the
bitter.
military.
You doing
It's
okay over there, buddy?
Yeah,
It's the front lines,
You wanna-
and that's
you wanna
They
show
that's
do
the
want to
conversation.
be that object of your affection, that thing that you seek to be with, that held above everything else in your life.
No, I don't buy
But-
that at all. I don't buy that at all. I think intrinsically, like if you were to break it down, and I'm going to go with popular culture references here, but if you were going to break it down, most men want to have a relationship with someone like Kesha. They want to have the crazy party girl who looks like she's completely sexually liberal. She has everything she's going on. That's why I Kissed a Girl by Katy Perry was such a big song.
Oh, that was
On
a
the
hot
flip
song, though.
On the flip side of that,
serious.
women are force-fed through their culture. They're force-fed the Twilight-style romances.
So are we.
And the things like that. But the thing about the Twilight-style romance is that that's fake, and there's no end to that because there's eternal life and eternal love.
That stuff started in the 80s, bro. I mean, you're talking about the demasculation
dude, it started in the Bible.
Emasculation of men.
Okay, he has a point there,
God,
but
that's
so
a
were
boring
we.
book.
We
I mean,
were
how
fed
about
the same
take the
thing
relationship
on the
between
opposite side.
relationship between Cain and Lilith? I mean, that's completely representative of every relationship that we actually end up being. That's probably one of the truest analogies of a relationship I've ever read. On the flip side, most women want their relationship to be like a Nicholas Sparks book or a movie. They want it to be like A Walk to Remember or The Notebook or any of that. And what's funny about that is there's never a chance for the love and the desire to die down in those relationships because one of the people dies. What your woman really wants from you is she wants you to be passionately in love with her for a year and a half, go to war,
And die.
fight on foreign soil, come back and die of cancer a year later.
I think
Because
the
that's
funniest
what
part
they've
is
been
you've seen all
force-fed.
those movies.
I don't think that's just win, though. I think, dude, if I could have a really hot and heavy relationship for like a year and then have the chick die and give me something to whine on Facebook about and get a bunch of sympathy lay, that'd be cool.
Wow. Okay.
Can we do that?
Yeah. Like what? You want to get the kid out of it too, so you
I
can
said
be like,
lay,
oh,
bro.
this is
Don't get mad.
I'm widowed. This is my son. He doesn't have a mother. Blah blah blah.
Another
Now
private
it's an Adam
message.
Sandler flick.
Another private message. Guy wrote in. He says, I think a woman lives for the opportunity to say not tonight. To her, it means you still desire her, but she would rather not go to the trouble of thanking you for still finding her attractive. If you tell a woman to return even half of the attention that she demands, you'll never see it. And if you bring that up, she'll be pissed.
Okay, here's my thing. A relationship, you're monogamous, then you're limiting yourself to only having sex with that one person or other people when that person's around in there. If you're going to limit my sexuality with other people, then you have to bring it when I need it. I'm not going to go through my life living unsexually satisfied because you expect some sort of body worship. That's just not going to happen.
I don't think any mature, reasonable adult doesn't want sex on a semi-regular basis. I think if your
unless their partner sucks at it.
That's your bad. That's purely on you. And the thing is,
exactly.
If you're not getting sex regularly in your relationship, don't blame her. Look at what you're doing. Have you gotten fat? Have you gotten unattractive? Have you gotten lazy? Are you spending more time, watching football and hanging out with the dudes, or hanging out in the garage and working on your car?
And Mr. Pink turns the table.
Exactly.
Mr. Pink turns the table.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, when's the last time that you went down and visited the little man in the boat? Have you checked that out?
Equal opportunity.
Have you seen what's going on down there? Because I guarantee you, if she says not tonight, and you just wear like a feed bag for a couple minutes, that whole thing's going to change.
Okay, but this guy is talking about basically return the favor on either side. And what he's saying is you can go through, and not just sexual related. He's saying you can go through a great length to please your lady, and 9 times out of 10, what's he say here? You won't get returned even half of the attention.
No, absolutely not.
Women don't give guys even half the attention back.
No, because women are attention whores. They need it. They crave it. It's in their instinctual makeup to always have to have attention. If they're not getting it from you, they're going to go look for it from somebody else. And who has the time to be able to keep up with that?
Well, I think a man wants to go down on a girl. A girl thinks that she has to in some way go down on a man. So it's a different type. I agree. However, it's a different type. We want to go down on them. They feel like they have to go down on you because it's something you expect or something that.
So it's not. No. So the exchange is
not whatsoever. I can tell.
You're uncut. I can tell you have issues with this situation. You got something bad going on down there.
Yeah, if it looks like a baby's arm crushing an apple, that's your fault.
Okay.
The simple fact is that no, it shouldn't be that way though. I know most of the time when there's some downstairs business going on, I can tell if there's passion involved and if that's something that they're interested in doing or if it's just them going to work. And
exactly.
But if you've done work before that, I can guarantee you that it's never going to be one of those things where they're down there like it's a job.
You can guarantee.
Yeah, it's going to be one of those things where you're like, well, slow down, stop, because there's so much passion.
Either that or you're uncut like James here, and she just doesn't even want to look it in the eye.
Okay, so another private message came in.
Wrapper on top.
Guy writes, he says, women get comfortable with the security and tend to forget that we exist until the trash is full or something is broken. But women are a little more complex when it comes to intimacy, so being a guy, we don't always cater to that. So I think they tend to give up due to lack of interest, but they still expect all the other benefits of the relationship. They will leave a guy flat on romance, but God forbid you threaten their standard of living.
No.
So basically what he's saying is
men
they will not take care of you on a sexual level, but they still expect you to do what you're...
I've never had that problem because I'm good in bed, so...
No, I've actually heard that from a lot of different friends in their relationships. My relationship...
I was going to say, it's pretty common occurrence, I think.
That is completely wrong. But that's just my relationship. That isn't my friends and things that I've heard over and over.
I was going to say, I've heard the same thing, James. I mean, I hear that a lot from guys. I mean, here you've got a guy that, is
and every dude that's told you, it's his fault. It's purely his fault. So,
exactly.
Okay. Like Mr. Brown said, if you're good in bed, I guarantee it's going to be coming your way. If you're, 3.5 some odd years in what I'm doing right now, and it's like being 18 again.
Okay.
So if not, they have instructional videos
what you're looking at is
on Pornhub, and you can get yourself some go see your doctor, and you might be able to figure it out.
No, and so
actually, that brings up a good point. So yeah, Viagra, Cialis, stuff like that. Guys, got any problem with it?
Amazing things.
Hell no, they're beautiful, and it's not that you need it; it's that it just ups the level beyond what a natural...
I personally
it's
heard
like Jon
needs got
Stewart
nothing
and
to do
Half
with
Baked.
it.
Okay, I'm an enhancement smoker when it comes to Viagra.
I've heard needs got nothing to do with it.
Yeah, need has nothing to do with it, but there's so much more human potential with a little bit of chemical enhancement than beyond what you're going to be able to do on your own. I mean, I personally can't finish 4 times and keep going and not have to take a break when it's just me. But when I have my little blue friend, I can do that. I can go till
I could spend 35 years
and
meditating as a Buddhist to find enlightenment, or I could go out on a reservation and eat some peyote.
Okay. Shortcuts.
Shortcuts.
Exactly. Life's too short, man. I mean, you got to accelerate
I'm not
those
sting.
processes.
I'm not.
But
going
on
for
the taking garbage out and all that, so the deal is that it's not that the woman is just looking for you to take the garbage out or whatever. The men, we think of things in binary terms. Our entire life is either we're doing something or we're not doing something. It's on or it's off. It's on or it's off.
Right.
Women have this very natural cyclic flow through their entire life. I mean, we take that however we want to take that. The simple fact is, to them, the relationship is always going. Everything in their life is always on a forward, progressing, moving path. With men, either we're doing it or we're not. Either we're wanting sex or we're not wanting sex. Either we're sleeping or we haven't had sex yet. And that's kind of the way that we approach these things. So it's not that she just all of a sudden wants you to take the garbage out. She's expecting that this is the natural flow and the order of your life. And we fall out of sync with that.
Not wanting sex. So you mean we're either wanting sex or we had sex 5 minutes ago and we're waiting another 5 to want it again?
Yeah, exactly. We're either having sex or eating sandwiches.
Oh man.
But it's an on or off thing with us in every single aspect of our lives. And with women, they have this kind of natural flow and this whole thing that goes with them. I mean, look at the embracing of, you take it to the Wiccan religion, things like that, where there's this whole holistic idea to the way that women approach their lives, and you can see the value.
And they run around naked and stuff.
Which is sometimes good, sometimes bad. I mean, come on, it's like spandex or
usually
tights.
Bad. It's like some of the chicks at the country fair. It's not the ones you want to see.
Kittens
don't
batting
real
at it.
Wiccans put, once you reach 12 years old, they strip you naked and put you in the woods overnight?
Okay, who cares about the Wiccan religion? Let's get back to the topic here. Okay, I got another guy that.
It's like how Derek
on women.
I got another guy who wrote in, and his message was, I've been in numerous relationships, and I firmly believe that respect and trust are rooted in an individual's upbringing. A strong faith-based relationship with trust and respect of each other is the only way to start and maintain a healthy relationship. Women that are deceitful, behave like sluts, or are money hungry, or do not have a strong moral structure can make the hope of a successful relationship impossible from the start. Having the same focus on God is imperative, period. Two people who sincerely believe in God and are actively doing His will are better people and better to be in a relationship with. Society has become removed from that basic formula. It took me a long time to realize and understand that concept. If people cannot get that, and they bring more lives into the world that does not hold to a strong moral structure, we as a society will drift.
Wrong.
Wow, that okay. So let's separate.
Wrong?
Let's
wrong?
Let's separate morals and religion for
all of
one
that
here.
sounded
Because
like feelings. So I'm going to let Mr. Pink
if-
take it because I zoned it out as soon as I started hearing faith and hope and.
We got 5 minutes left of the show, so why is it wrong?
Why is it wrong? Okay, so you want to talk about morals and you want to talk about religion and your faith in God and your ability to be in a strong
It's
relationship.
the only
and
way
stuff
to have
like
a
that.
strong relationship.
So, I mean, are we talking about morals from an individual perspective, or are we talking about like a church indoctrinated set of morals? Because if
Let's
you're
be
talking
more
about-
specific,
He
okay?
clearly was
Let's be more specific.
indoctrinated.
Mr. Pink,
Clearly.
let's make it really simple for you. Do you want a woman who lies to you, or do you want a woman who tells you the truth?
That is a
What
bit
does that
too
have to do with
simplified.
God
That's
and-
not
I'm
what you just
simplifying
read.
it. I'm
What
That is
does that
not
simplifying
have to
what
do
you
it.
with
just
God?
Do
read.
you want a
though?
woman who's honest with you and does
I will
not
take
That
an
is
honest.
not what you
doesn't
just
take
read.
it, doesn't lie about you and say
I will
things
take an
behind your
honest
back.
atheist any day.
Yeah, an honest atheist.
Give me
is
an honest
great.
atheist any day.
That's
I want
my
both.
point.
I want
That's
both.
my point.
So
That's my
let's-
point right
let's-
there.
let's not put-
Morality,
let's not put gods and
morality.
morals and all this
We're
stuff
talking
together.
about morals in general. We're not
Morals
discussing
do
or
not
debating
come from
religion here,
God.
guys. Let's pull it out of
Okay,
here.
if we can take the
we're-
God out of that, then
Okay,
there's
if
a
the word
conversation.
God trips you up,
Sure.
let's just take it out. Do you want one who lies to you or not?
No, it
I don't
doesn't
want
trip you
anybody
up.
in my
It doesn't
life that
trip
lies
us
to
up
me.
saying God. It
I
trips
don't-
us up putting that level on it when all we're talking
No,
about
so
is
Morality,
so- so
okay,
morality does
morality
not come from God.
is kind of a big deal here, though. when
Morality
we're
does
talking
not
about
come from
relationship.
God.
I could give a crap what you think, James. I'm not debating that. I'm asking
you
you.
oversimplified.
I'm asking
Reread it.
you.
Reread
Does
it, I dare
morality
you.
have a play in relationships?
Of course,
Obviously,
morality
it
has a play in
does.
every relationship,
Duh.
whether it's with your girlfriend or your father or your son. Morality has a play in everything.
Well,
that
there you
do.
go. Okay, so that's
doesn't have
the
to be-
point.
it
That's
doesn't
the
have
point
to
of what
be
the
a
guy's
faith-
saying.
those
Morality.
things
Exactly.
those things are defined by the relationship itself. It's just defined by your relationship. Do I want a woman that lies to me? No. Do I want a friend that lies to me? No.
There you go.
I used to have a boss that lied to me all the time, and I hated that dude.
So
I mean, the
let me
simple
ask you
fact
this:
is, I
if
mean,
you were, what he said was, if you're involved with a deceitful woman, women that are deceitful, women that behave like sluts, or are money hungry, or do not have the strong moral structure, can make the hope of a successful relationship impossible from the start,
Why would you get involved
from
with
the
a
very
woman
beginning.
in the beginning?
'Cause she's lying to you,
A
bro.
lying slut.
Because she's lying to you from the very beginning.
so
if a woman
you're-
behaves that way,
if you're missing the red flags, again, that's on you.
Bad on you.
Yeah, I mean, if any of those things were occurring in a relationship that I was in, it wouldn't be a relationship that I'd be in. Pure and simple.
I wouldn't need to catch her red-handed. There would be a lot of warning signs and telltale things that would come into play long before I had to catch her red-handed and prove it.
Yeah, I like a girl with nothing that adds up, and she, after you guys together, she gives you a pill and says, "My doctor said you should take this," and little things like that. Those are the women we should all go after.
Yeah, no, you prefer the woman that you
Come
give
on.
the pill and say you got to take this within the next 24 hours.
That dude's ridiculous in the first place, and he was just making a religious statement. Period.
No, he wasn't.
Yes,
actually,
he was.
Actually, what he said was valid, and you guys agreed with it.
Yeah,
okay,
I
you guys got tripped up on the religion and the God
kidding.
part. The point of the matter
Kidding,
is,
it's legitimate.
guys
I
don't
want a car
want-
that runs.
guys don't want.
No
What he's
stuff.
saying is, women that behave that way, because he's been in multiple relationships, behave that way, that are deceitful and things like that. That causes problems from the very beginning of the relationship, and you can't have a successful relationship based on that.
You know what one of my favorite parts of relationships is? Breaking up. Breaking up is really easy. It can be fun. If you do it with a little tact and guile, it's an amazing part of the relationship. I always have a front door, and you're more than welcome to walk out of it.
How are we doing? We got a minute and a half.
Minute and a half left. Let's see how many times James can scream into the microphone on this.
Right now.
No, so nobody wants anybody in their life that lies. Pure and simple.
No, of course not. And if you behave that way, or the woman you're with behaves that way, chances are, I mean, your chances of success are like mute. It's just
Zero.
not going to happen.
No, and if you do go down that road,
Are
it's just
are
gonna be a
women
hard
money
road
hungry?
on you.
Are women money hungry?
Are men? Are people? Humankind is money hungry.
Yes.
It's. I mean, if we're going to make general
safe
statements
answer.
and not have exceptions to it, yeah. I mean,
The safe
there's
answer.
gonna be
but it's
exceptions,
true.
but people are money hungry.
Is it true, James?
It's absolutely
okay.
true.
In a relationship
Everyone,
between
not
men and
just
women,
women.
who brings what to the table?
Is this like a speed round?
It's really quick. Answer quick. In a relationship between men and women, who brings what to the table?
Love, kindness from
Bite
one
me.
side, money,
Bite
and,
me.
money, and changing light bulbs on the other.
He
I
just
don't
remembered
know.
that he's going home to his wife.
God, I don't
I'll tell you,
know.
I work
She
with
knows
some.
I'm a
I work with
jerk.
some fairly successful guys. I work with some fairly successful people, and most of them, their wives make more money than them, by a long shot. By a long shot.
It's true.
I seriously, I mean it, and now that.
So
is
what
that-
value do men have anymore?
What value do men have?
Yeah.
It's
We can hunt
swinging
and kill.
right between my legs.
Where do we start? We're there for procreation.
We can hunt and kill.
We have whatever value we create for
Hey,
ourselves.
I would
just as
love it if
anybody
my
knows.
wife made 6 figures a year. I would love it. I would stay home with the kids and play Legos.
Folks, thanks for listening to the show. Tune into the website, www.buycommonsense.com. We'll have the recording up for you then.